is your demographics page. This is where you're going to put in that personal information about the customer. So first name, middle name, last name, whatever it may be. Whatever is on their driver's license is what you need to put on the account. So if the gentleman's name, say, is Jose Jesus Rivera Garcia III, it would be Jesus, or Jose Jesus Rivera Garcia, then the third in the suffix box. Now, say his last name was hyphenated as Rivera-Garcia. That only goes in this one last name box because that hyphen makes it one name. For income, sorry, there's two questions in chat, so let me go ahead and explain that. SSI is technically a state-funded program. SSA is a federal public program, or not public, a federal program. SSI is the one where you will always choose SSI. If it is anything other than supplemental security income, it will automatically go under income-based program. I hope that explained that a little better. If you have more questions, feel free to type it in, I'll answer it. So then you would put in the date of birth, the last four of the social, and then if that customer, as you can see, there's no red asterisk here, if they are willing to give you that phone number or their email address, please put it in. If they are not, leave it blank. We don't need fake information on the application. If they don't want to give it, leave it blank. Our customer service team will get it later. At that time, you would go ahead and move on to the address, so street number, street name. If they have an apartment, anything like that, you'll put that in there. You'll put the city. You'll never have to choose California. We have that automatically chosen for you, so that's one less step for you. And then you'll put in the zip code. And then you will choose whether it's temporary or permanent. Temporary is like halfway houses, hotels, things like that. Permanent is more like houses, mobile homes, apartments, things of that nature. With the addresses, you will have to have proof of address that has to be dated within the last year. It can be on their driver's license. Those, of course, is valid as long as the driver's license is valid. However, for the proof of address, it would need to be a piece of mail, printed, not handwritten, cannot accept rent receipts or anything like that. It has to be printed. So that's pretty much what an address section is here. These two right here that I want to touch on, billing and shipping, please leave them as residents. If they ever need to have like a replacement phone shipped out or something like that, our customer service team, they're really amazing, will take care of that with the customer. So you'll never have to worry about that. Leave those as residents and go ahead and move on. Does anyone have any questions about addresses before we continue?
So question, so if the customer ID does not match their address on that document, they would have to approve that, correct?
They would have to, what, I'm sorry?
So they would have to have proof of a piece of mail that's current from this year?
Yes, they have to have it within the last year. So it's either what's on their driver's license or a piece of mail. The only piece of mail that we really don't take are like junk papers.
What about their ID is expired? Can they have some type of second documentation to accept with their expired ID?
No. Sorry.
So just to clarify, no expired IDs accepted, right?
Never.
Okay.
Per USAC guidelines and the FCC guidelines, the driver's license or ID, whatever proof it is, needs to be valid. Any other questions?
What if it's a student ID?
Nope, not acceptable.
No prison IDs, or they just got released, anything like that. They have to be a valid ID.
It has to be a valid ID. It can be like a veteran's ID as long as there's a date of birth on it. It can be a state issued ID. It can be your passport. It can be a matricular card. It can be an out of state ID. You just have to have proof of address. Any other ones? Okay, I'll go ahead and continue. This next section is giving us authorization to run them through the database. They'll pretty much need to read this document. They'll scroll down to the bottom and check that box and then validate. You'll validate that customer. At that time, if that customer is not able to be validated, you'll get a message that'll pop up that says this customer is qualified for SIM only. We are not ready to roll out SIM only. We only have one group testing it at this time. When we are ready to roll out that, yes, at that time you can select that for those types of customers. But if you do get that and not a part of our test group, what you would do at that time is go ahead and click to let that customer know at this time they do not qualify for a phone with our company. Another question was, how about a passport to services with no IDs? Is that acceptable? No. Passport to service does not have a valid photo ID on it, so no. A birth certificate is also not valid, and neither is a social security card. Sorry. This next section is kind of long and a lot of time. I'm going to zoom out so I can scroll through rather quickly. This is the disclosures page. It's actually explaining all the rules of the Lifeline program to the customer. So what they'll do is they'll read this, they'll check this box, all of them, and then they will need to sign their name. The customer can sign in cursive. It needs to match whatever's on their driver's license if they're signing in cursive, or they can print their name, like first initial, last name, all last names and suffix. However, they must be signing their name. There is never an instance where it is okay for you as an agent to sign for the customer. If you are signing for that customer, it is considered fraud. You as an agent can never sign for them. I cannot stress this enough because over the past few days, I've had people blatantly say that they're doing it for customers. It is a termination if we find this out. So please do not sign for the customer. Let them sign for themselves. Invest in a stylist so it's easy for them to sign. Anyone have any questions over anything that we've gone through so far?
Hey, I just received a text. One of the representatives asked, can we accept paper IDs?
Nope.
Or print out? Okay.
We do not. Any other ones? Okay, I'll go ahead and move on. Like I said, there's chat if you need to type it in there while I'm talking. This next section is actually where you'll start to upload your documentation. That first section that you'll upload is your ID. So you'll click upload, and then you will upload that driver's license on the PVT form. So it'll pretty much look like this. You'll put the ID on the PVT. You'll have it with your signature, that order ID, as well as the date. And then when you take the picture, try to get, as much of the top as you can and as much of the bottom as you can, so that way everything is still legible. Your next one is your proof of eligibility. So whatever program they qualify with, you'll click upload, and then you'll upload those documentations. On this left-hand side, you can see I did a Medi-Cal card. So pretty much put it in that box, sign it, order ID date. Now say, like we were talking about earlier, they have Social Security and they're qualifying under income, and it's a full-size piece of paper. It does not have to be on the PVT. So you would just take a picture of this letter as a whole, or say we're having a hard time reading what that income is. As you can see, it's kind of hard to read here. What you can do is fold that piece of paper, take a picture of the top, fold it over, take a picture of that bottom, and then go ahead and submit that. The third document that you'll have to upload is proof of address, like we were talking about earlier. It needs to be within the last year. So you'll click upload, and then you'll upload the driver's license if that's what it is. Does not need to be on the PVT. It makes it easier for us to read. That's why we do not have that one on the PVT. If they're using a piece of mail or like a utility bill or something like that, same thing as above, do not take it on the PVT. Just take it as a picture as the whole document, or if you have to, fold it in half, take the top and take the bottom. Once you've done that, you'll go ahead and click submit. And at that time, it goes over to our compliance team. Our compliance team is live audit, so it is real people looking at the orders. And every time, I want to stress this too, every time you resubmit an order, everything will be rechecked. And the reason is you could have changed something on the application that we did not say change, so we need to make sure that everything is still correct. So you need to give our agents, not agents, our QC team time to audit those orders. Please give them like, a 5 to 10 minute window. If you've approached the 5, go ahead and call in. But our team's pretty good. They're usually done, right around like the 3-minute mark. Also, one thing I do want to talk about pictures. Thanks for bringing that up. We do not require the back side of photos. We only require the front of the photo for like the ID and for the food stamp card. Now, there will be occasions where QC will ask you to submit it back, and that's mostly just trying to find out whether or not the ID is broken. If the ID is broken in half, we will not accept it. It's not valid anymore. I hope that helps. Back to QC, they have all these different reasons that they can deny you. So they'll check whatever boxes are appropriate to check, and then they will give specific reasons on why they are denying your order at this time. When you get your order back, and say for this one, you can see this was soft rejected. You'll click that retake data and 2 paragraphs will pop up. That first paragraph will be whatever we've checked up here. And then that second paragraph is what they've actually written out for you. So it is like very specific. For example, say you spelled the first name wrong. They'll just put name mismatch. Not very, right to the point of what's wrong. This box, it'll say, you have put the last name in the first name box and the first name in the last name box and spelled it wrong. That way you know specifically on what to go back and check. If you don't know exactly what they're meaning, call into agent support. We'll read it, we'll look it over and let you know what you need to fix. If we disagree and think that it's right, we'll let them know to accept it the next time you submit it. So like I said, if you are soft rejected, it will turn yellow, but if you're approved, it will turn green. Before I go on to the next section, any questions about anything I've gone over so far? Okay. So this next section will be after you've gotten your approval. It is the service type section. First things first, you'll put the SIM in. You'll then validate it. Put the IMEI in, and then you'll validate it. One thing I do want to stress here is you always need to make sure you put the SIM number in first. This is the number that begins with 8901. If you put the IMEI number in, it will cause your order to error out and be denied. At that time, that customer cannot reapply today. They'll have to wait till the next day to reapply. So always make sure you put the SIM in first. So SIM, validate, IMEI, validate. Then you'll choose the plan, the CA Lifeline Unlimited with 4 gigabytes of data. and then you'll choose what type of language that they prefer. You know, whatever their native tongue is, and that's so pretty much if call reaches out to them, they know, you know, if they need an interpreter or whatever it may be. And then also whether they prefer standard or large print. You know, maybe people, you know, are nearsighted or farsighted or whatever it may be, and it's easier to have a large print. They offer that as well. The final section is the PIN. Please always let the customer choose this number. When they call into our customer service team, they have to verify what this PIN number is. So if they do not have it, they're going to have a hard time getting help about their account, because then they're going to have to go through the 4-step process of verifying their information. So have them put a PIN in, and then they confirm it, and then you'll go ahead and submit that order. At that time, you'll get an order completion screen. It'll show that same order ID number that you had on your PVT and at the beginning of the application. It will also have their phone number on it. Make sure you write down this phone number for them. My best practice on this personally is I would write it in the lid of the phone box, so that way they have it easy to go back to. Also, one other thing I would do is write down customer services phone number in the lid of the box. So that way if they have any questions after they leave you, they can reach out to our customer service team for any type of help they need. So now we're going to go ahead and activate a phone. First things first, put your SIM in, put your battery in, and power up that phone, and do the necessary steps to get your phone activated. After you've done all that, you will go ahead and make a test call. At that time, you have to ask the customer for permission to make that test call. It is now their phone, and if they would like to make that call themselves, like call their mom or whatever have you, that is perfectly fine. However, if they're okay with you making that call, we do have an activation line, and I'm going to put this in chat as well. The activation line is 419-205-9509. It's me giving a little spiel about the program and things like that, and the phone is now activated. Now, say you go to make that test call and you get some kind of error or some kind of manufacturer defect on a phone, which doesn't happen a whole lot. At that point, you'll have to do a swap. So our swap policy is attached to here as well. A swap can be done until 4 p.m. your time. If you have to do a swap any time after that, you'll need to hold that phone, get a meetup spot for you and that customer for the next day, and then the following morning call into agent support, and we'll help you fix that phone. If we can't do it by a repair, then we'll go ahead and swap the IMEI and the SIM number. We always swap both. So pretty much that's what our policy is. It's pretty basic, but if you ever have to do one, we'll walk you through it. It's pretty simple. So now we've gone ahead and made that successful call. At that time, you will give everything that belongs to the customer to that customer. 1, you'll give them their phone number. 2, you'll give them their device with the box and all the materials that came with the phone. Also give them customer services phone number. I'm going to put this in chat as well. It is 877-266-7212. Like I said, they can call them at any time to find things out. One other helpful thing that customers do like to have is to be able to text to find out what their balance is for minutes. If they text BAL to 5115, I put this in chat, they can get their balance. Now I'm going to go ahead and talk about agent support before I give that phone number out to you guys. Agent support is for agents and agents only. Never, and I mean never ever, give this phone number out to a customer. We do not have the time between the 4 of us to take customer calls as well as agent support. You guys will never get help. We have an amazing team, like I said, that will take care of all of our customers' needs. This is for you and you only. So for that reason alone, please never give this to a customer. Agent support's phone number is 877-319-5255. 5512. And at that time, that is everything in the training manual. Does anyone have any questions about anything that I've gone over in the manual? Any questions general about the Lifeline program or anything like that? I will go ahead and answer those while I get logged into CGM so we can do a pre-production order. But first, I want to take a little bit of questions if there are any. Okay, no questions. We'll go ahead and continue. So pretty much you'll see here, like I said, my name is in the top right-hand corner, and then you'll see the status of this order that I put in. Now, if you see up here, you'll get this nice little orange box. I'll answer that question in just a second. This orange box will pretty much give you the status of orders that you've put in previously. So one question that was asked is, what time can you guys do orders? You guys are allowed to put in orders Sunday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Okay, so to cancel out this order so it's not in there anymore, you'll click done, and then it will go ahead and disappear. I'm gonna go ahead and start that new order. Like I said, at this time, every day it'll ask you to do this, or every login session, I should say. If you get logged out and log back in, you'll have to redo your signature. My name is really long, so I'm just kind of gonna scribble it up here for just a moment. I'm using a mouse, so it looks awful. And then you'll go ahead and click start. And this time, like I said, this is the eligibility portion. This is pretty much finding out whether or not they qualify for the Lifeline program. And then they'll choose what type of program. My examples are Medi-Cal, so I'm gonna go ahead and choose Medi-Cal. Then you click next. And then this is the demographics. My go-to name is Jose Jesus Riviera Garcia III. Now, like I said, if this is hyphenated, oh, my bad. It would just be like that. There would be no reason to separate them because that hyphen makes it one name. Then you'll go ahead and put in their date of birth and then the last four of their social. Now I'm going to go ahead and choose to give them my email address. And then go ahead and put in my address. And then the zip code. As you can see, it's hollowed out here. This is pretty much showing you that you'll never have to fill it in, which is kind of nice. This is an apartment, so you will put it as permanent. And like I said, for billing and shipping, just leave them as residents. You don't ever have to touch them. This is that database check that I was talking about, so you'll read it and accept it, and then we'll validate that customer. You can't see the SIM-only screen here because this is testing, and that's not a part of it. And then we click OK. And then the disclosures, like I said, they'll read these statements and then they'll check them. One thing that's nice about CGM is they have been grandfathered in to be able to do check marks still, because anything going forward, USAC made it so that way the customer has to initial every single one of these boxes. And then, like I said, the customer will then sign their name. And he's signing it how it is on his driver's license. And then he'll accept. And then we'll go ahead and upload the documentation. First section is identity. So we'll go ahead and get an ID on that PVT sheet. Then we move on to Medi-Cal, click upload. Then we get a Medi-Cal on the PVT sheet. And then address proof. For here, we're just going to use the driver's license, just not on the PVT sheet. And then we'll submit that. And at that time, it's now over to our audit team. But this is as far as I go with an actual order. The reason being is we don't waste inventory by attaching a phone. So that being said, that is my presentation for agent training today. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. If there are none, I'll go ahead and end. But for now, it's an open forum. Please ask anything that you need to ask. I'm here to help you succeed with our company. So at this time, it's up to you guys. Go ahead and ask away.
What if their signature doesn't match what's on their ID?
Their signature?
Yes.
It doesn't have to match their ID. But if they're
Okay.
signing in cursive, that's when we ask that it matches the ID.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Let's see, we got. You will, for your question, when will you be getting phones to start? You'll need to ask your manager that. I don't know, and I'm not sure who you work for. Paper IDs are not okay. Is the American Systems going to do survey or have a point system due to FCC enforcing? We will have everything that the FCC is enforcing. At this time, I do not know what that is. So you will need to reach out to your manager to find out what that is to see if they have been given that information.
Are we the ones to assist the customer with the My Account function on the phone?
I'm sorry, I did not hear what you said.
Are we the ones that assist the customer with the My Account app on their phones? Do we show them how to do the My Account app?
We don't have an app on our phones.
Okay. Oh.
The type of phones that we have are a max or Maze Speed 504R, but we do have them in 4G and some 3G, but we're almost completely out of 3G, so it won't be very much longer that we have those. Expired IDs are never acceptable ever. And some people ask, are they allowed to bring like the expired IDs with those little pieces of paper from the DMV? No. On that little piece of paper, if you read it, it actually states this is not used for identification verification. Any other questions? Like I said, feel free to unmute yourself or type in the chat. I have it scheduled till 3, so I'm here if you need me. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. If you do have any afterwards or like we end the call and you have something, you can call into agent support and we can help. Oh, nope, there is a question. Go ahead. Did you have a question? Okay. One person asked again if I could say what kind of phones they are. They're Mace Speeds 504s, 504s, and they are 4G, and we have a few 3G left, but most of them that are going out are 4G. You're very welcome as well. Thank you. I'll give it one more moment just in case. That is supposed to say 3G, not hashtag, sorry. Evidently, my computer wants to type out things that I'm not typing. You're very welcome. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thank you all so much for coming. I hope you, go ahead.
Thank you very much.
You're
All the
very welcome.
agent managers, you guys are good. Nobody has questions.
Oh, we're all good.
I'm sorry? What was your question?
We're good
Okay,
on my end.
all right. You guys have a good day. If you do have questions, call in the agent support. We're here to help you and help you be successful.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You're welcome. You all as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a good one.